All right, so now we're gonna start talking about when your opponent does the hip switch. So what happens here is you start doing your classic side, and now go ahead and switch your hip. He switches into a control like this, and now the escape pattern is completely different, okay? So this one is usually gonna happen when they're a little bit higher on you. If they're low on you, go back up the side. If they're low on you and they try to do the hip switch here, they're so far out, you can kind of continue with the same kind of escape. The real problem with the hip switch, go around this side here, yeah, is that when they switch, go ahead and switch, it's your elbow gets stuck out like this. Now if my elbow's out, I have no way to fight and I can't move, and it's a very difficult escape to get, or position to get out of. So go back up. So again, if we focus first on getting good frames with our elbow low, blocking the far side, what's gonna happen is as he switches, go ahead and switch. As he switches, I want my elbow to track on the inside. So you see how my forearm here is blocking his rib cage or his far hip. It'll depend on where he is. It's gonna be a bit adjusting depending on their position. But the main idea is I'm still protecting that space like I talked about where I scrape, right? I wanna protect that space. As long as I'm here, sometimes I'll grab some fabric like this or the belt, whatever I can get, and I just keep it wedged in there like that. From here, there's two main styles of escape. It'll depend on how he's positioned. If he has his body weight on the floor, so just leave your, yeah, if he has his body weight on the floor, a bridge won't really do anything, okay? But that elbow wedged in his ribs or his hip, what I do is I take my foot out here, I'm gonna start doing what's called a forward shrimp. A normal shrimp is this. Forward shrimp, we turn our hip away, I put my small toes on the floor, and now I pull my hip away. And my elbow here blocks him from following as long as his hips are on the floor. It functions like a jack, right? So now here he stays tight, and I do it one more time and I get all this space. And now again, I lift the core tight, bring my core tight, start bringing the knee in, and I can start working to escape, right? So again, we're here, he switches the hip in, I start blocking here, forward shrimp. You may need to do it 2 or 3 times. Bring the core tight, seat core really tight, bring the knee in, and I start working my way out. Next situation here is as I start trying to do this, he starts loading his body weight on me. Now, no matter how much I shrimp, right? No matter how much I shrimp here, he's gonna stay loaded on me, okay? So in this case, this is where the bridge is gonna work. Now the thing with the bridge, just like the previous one, if my arm's not in a good position, this bridge isn't gonna do anything. He's gonna stay on me, right? But go back up. But as long as I keep my elbow in the right spot, when he does the switch, my elbow stays on his ribs or far hip. If you come in close here, you can see this. Right? See how my elbow's here? Substantially different than being out here, right? So I have this wedge. Now, as I go, he follows, but now look, I'm gonna load up a bridge. What I do is I bring my toes close to my butt, and I'm gonna bridge up, and I use my elbow to flare him up. Depending on your opponent, some will stay tight and you can roll them. Most people who are experienced, they're gonna catch their balance like that. We can lift our core tight and start bringing our knee in and start trying to escape, right? In the case that, just keep holding tight there, right? And then you'll back up a little bit because we're gonna go into, right? If he stays really like that, see, naturally he posted his hand, which is what they should do, right? But if they don't post their hand, you will roll them over sometimes. Most people have enough experience to let go and post, but understand when they let go and do that post, that's giving you the room for your hips to work to start pressing and moving back out to an escape.